Serious question, why does every Netflix documentary start with a random chair in the middle of a room no one's ever seen and someone just walking and sitting down on it? Before we get into the juicy parts of this video, we're gonna have to rewind a bit. Back at the beginning of 2020, I was doing a little bit of resistance training, but at the time, it wasn't my main form of exercise. More on that in a minute. But then what we define as 2020 happened. I was locked down alone in a 500 square foot apartment with nothing but a yoga mat and a laptop. Among that time, I did a lot of challenges. I loved it. I found new forms of fitness. I explored my flexibility, but what I couldn't help but notice, my already there lack of physical strength was decreasing even more so. 2020, I think we can all agree, has been ebbs and flows of breakdowns for all of us. But I think we all have that one defining moment that stood out where it was like, wow, this sucks. F the world. There's no definition, we were just all in it. For mine, that was October. Without dwelling on it, go watch this video if you want to see it. I was both physically, mentally, and emotionally depleted. To the point, I didn't even know where to begin. I didn't know what the next step forward. I just knew I couldn't stay here. Through some beautiful moments, sometimes life has this weird way of things falling into your lap. I did a Sydney Cummings challenge just because you guys requested it, which involved a few days of weightlifting. And some kind of spark happened. But this spark to feel strong again. I realized I had to work on building myself up, mentally, emotionally, physically, but I knew physical strength, I could start there. I wanted to be a place of exploring, trying new ways to build up, figuring out what makes me feel strong, not just diving into one plan, but holding myself a sense of accountability. So I made a promise to myself back in October to do some form of strength training every single day for 66 days in a row, and so it began.
We collide, we break down, caving in to our doubts, faces filled with sadness. When words are said, we'll regret. I can see the fire that we made just to save us. When we try to make up for never letting go, said the things we promised not to say that we break.
Now, when this challenge started back in October, my original plan was just the first 2 weeks, just lift something every day, get into the habit, just get a feel for the gym again, where my body's at. And then every week after that, try a different form of weightlifting. I'm talking CrossFit, Olympic lifting, powerlifting, just show you guys the different forms, introduce myself to the different forms of weightlifting. But like, why at no point in 2020 did I learn that you can't plan for anything in 2020? It will never, you just can't. So most gyms closed up in Vancouver, aside from some big public ones. Vancouver went into lockdown, so I'm not allowed to leave downtown Vancouver. People are not allowed to come into downtown Vancouver. So, in typical 2020 fashion, we pivoted. We can't let 2020 defeat us, so I changed up this challenge a little bit. So I did find a few familiar faces for you guys that helped me along on this journey. Originally, I was going to show different forms of weight training, but when that wasn't possible, it transitioned into doing something every single day to build up my physical strength, which became a reminder and a metaphor to build up my emotional strength every day. And by committing to doing that every day for those 66 days, it also built up my own belief in myself, resulting in actually building up my mental strength I felt. So what did I do? It was about 3 to 5 times a week. I was doing a traditional weight training style workout, 1 to 2 days, maybe just 50 reps or something. And 1 day a week, I just lifted anything I could get my hands on for like 10 reps. Consistent habits every day. And science says it takes 66 days to fully cement a habit. And because this challenge isn't necessarily just physical, it's also mental. That means I want to weight lift every single day. You need rest days, you need recover. So today we are just going to pick up, this will work. Overhead squat. Oh, I need warm up. Simply to keep up with the habit and reminder.
We're still here, flipping coins about what's to come. It starts getting cold, and we don't know any way out of here. We're trying to understand how it all started to go wrong, but the sea is way too deep.
My name is Libby Christensen. I am 22 years old and I am from Kansas in the middle of the United States. Keltie, if you're watching this, I love you.
I love you more.
Gymshark, if you're watching this, I also love you. I got into weightlifting because I used to run track when I was in middle school and high school. I always had direction and I knew what I wanted to do. I just loved exerting energy, and finally when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have any direction, no coaches telling me what I needed to do or what exercises I needed to perform. So I visited my dad in the summer after I graduated from high school, and I went to his apartment gym, and that's really where my entire weightlifting journey began, because I really loved being in the gym and knowing how capable I was. My biggest tip to anybody that's wanting to start a weightlifting journey is to just try it, kind of dip your toes in and see what you think about it. Starting with bodyweight exercises, making sure that you have proper form lifting. I love weightlifting because it was something that I had no idea about, and the moment that I started it, I fell in love with the fact that I realized how capable I am of lifting heavy weight and trying something new.
Something people are gonna ask, body transformation, my diet. At the beginning, I went into a calorie surplus just to get my weight up to maintenance because I was quite depleted, if you guys saw a previous video. But I didn't want anything to change about my diet. I just wanted to focus on this one thing because honestly, that's all I could handle at the time. So I was kind of eating calorie maintenance, nutrient dense food, but also what we call here on my channel soul food, and just enjoying the holidays, which ironically was kind of hard for me to do in the sense this I knew was going to come around on New Year's, and nothing does better on New Year's than that clickbait. I lost 10 pounds following this diet. Like, I know those views are always there, and I thought so many times, be like, hey, well, just like add keto or do this and like carb load, or it was hard to just be like, no, just do what your body needs. Don't do it for the thumbnail and the algorithm. Like, this is for you, this challenge. Because I have to admit, being a YouTuber, sometimes you just become slave to the algorithm and it blinds you, and I knew I had to do this for me. This is for rebuilding me, and you guys kept me accountable. Ironically, kind of brings me into why me and weightlifting have such a weird relationship.
I'm Millie Pickles, I'm 23 years old. I'm from just outside of London in the UK. And then 3 years ago, I had an accident where I was electrocuted and I lost the lower part of my right leg. And I was in hospital for a very long amount of time. So I got very weak and I thought, okay, there's no time like the present. So I went into the gym in my wheelchair, and I remember doing my leg press and I couldn't even do 10 kg. I got so weak, and it was really important that I got strong. So that's how it kind of kick-started my journey. I love the process of just getting strong and just knowing that I'm doing good for my body.
So I'm going to show you my results from this challenge and thoughts in a little bit, but we actually have to backtrack about 5 or 6 years so you kind of understand where I'm coming from with weightlifting, something I don't talk a lot about on the channel. One day I'll do a video of my whole fitness journey. Short summary, I played college basketball. I was a high-level basketball and volleyball player my entire life, and I always did weightlifting for sports performance. My college basketball career ended due to a knee injury. And through that knee injury, I had to do a lot of rehab, and I found weightlifting. It kind of was the first spark of fitness aside from sports I'd ever experienced. And if you know anything on my personality, I dive fully into things. I am a 0 or 100 kind of person. I'm like, extreme, hard, let's go. Yes, this is my thing, da, da. Now I went through a really dark place, and weightlifting kind of got me out of it. And because of that, it was my new savior, weightlifting. It got me out of this really depressive place after sports ended. Instead of really diving into what I had to overcome, I just kind of used it as a band-aid and became overly obsessed with it. I'm talking, if I wasn't in the gym 6 or 7 times a week, I was a failure. I was doing 2-a-days. I was spending hours researching. All I cared about was getting more muscle. That's literally all I seemed to care about. My life focused around it. I ate to gain muscle. I ate to make sure my body stayed a certain way. I worked out every day in this way, and it just consumed me, and I sacrificed my own health for it in the sense that I felt broken. Yeah, maybe my glutes are bigger than they are now, or I had, more of a taper, like all those things, but I wasn't athletic, and that was another thing that I had eye-opening years ago. Unfortunately, I just had to rip off weightlifting like a band-aid, and I just had to focus on other forms of fitness. And I kind of did a little bit because I knew just the importance, but it had this really bad taste in my mouth, and it brought me back to that place I didn't want to be, because I took it to extreme. So for the last 5 years, it has been the Keltie the internet knows me, that likes different sports, likes different activities, just wants to move my body. And I'm so glad I got out in weightlifting to explore more. And now this challenge was a nice way to be like, you can just have it back in your life without it consuming you.
My name is Anna, I'm 25 years old and I live in Austria. Years ago, when I was 14 or 15 years old, I was super skinny and I wasn't in a healthy relationship with food. I wanted to gain weight, I want to feel comfortable, fit and healthy again, got me into weightlifting. At the beginning, I just trained with super light dumbbells because I was so afraid and so scared of lifting heavy weights, and I just felt super uncomfortable next to all the strong guys in the gym. But that would be my number one tip for you as a weightlifting beginner. Don't be afraid and don't be scared of what other people might be thinking. Yeah, just be brave and be confident and just start with lifting heavy weights.
So it's December 1st, which is going to sound funny, is I just feel confident to go throw around things in the gym. Now, something I've never been timid about is being in the gym. When I first started this challenge, I had been so separated from weight training for so long that I was like, well, I'm never on the way, I'm embarrassed, I'm gonna lift up and people are gonna judge me. Now, even though no one's in the gym right now, I'm like, I got this.
Weightlifting just comes from the idea that I've kind of done it all by myself. It's all myself and it's my own like work and progress that I've made.
My best memory of weightlifting isn't even like that mega, but it was when I did a reverse lunge with a kettlebell, because considering I don't have a big toe on my left foot and then I don't have a foot on my other leg, I find it really hard to balance. So the fact that I was doing a lunge, not holding on to anything, with a weight in my hand was mental.
It has changed my body. Weightlifting has helped me to gain weight. And last but not least, weightlifting has helped me to change my whole life.
Throughout this challenge, I just made sure I was always excited to get to the gym. It wasn't a burden, it wasn't obsessive, it wasn't a have to, it's a want to. I've always prided myself to a fault of being the hardest worker in the room, but it's resulted in blinders. I focus on one thing and that's all I do. And a lot of times the direction was that way, but I'm just too stubborn working hard that I missed the pass and we just kept going. 2020, I think, made us all stop and slow down. It made me realize it's not just go, go, go this direction as hard as possible. Like, you have to stop and reevaluate and make sure you're on the right path and go again. Ask myself, like, what do I genuinely enjoy doing? What is actually the outcome I want? What sparks joy in my life? Having a little habit every day just kind of built momentum. I think I was so crash and burn cycle for so long. It was like, you have to go this way and go and burn out and go and burn out. And I think that was all of us. And even throughout 2020, you've seen it on here, I've done that time and time again. But for whatever reason, just this little habit of like, something I can keep doing and I can build on this in a sustainable way. And I'm not saying I'm gonna continue weightlifting every day. I'm not. This was just a 60-day thing, but it was just something that built a momentum. I feel stronger, I feel rejuvenated, I have confidence. I made a promise to myself and I kept it. Because for so long, I felt like a dead hamster going on a spinning wheel. This hamster died, but the wheel's still going, but its limp head is hitting against the ground. But the wheel's still going, and that's how I felt for so long, and it was not sustainable. I'm like, I don't know how to describe. I think we've all felt that, especially in 2020. We're like, we're going, but like, we're dead, but we're still going. And like, in 2020, it didn't stop for me. It just, everything exploded. Everything came online. There was more people coming online. And I wasn't doing anything for me. I was just trying to ride this hamster wheel and go. And I didn't have momentum. I was just, like you said, just a dead something on a skateboard. I'm sorry about all the dead thing references. 2020. This is just the metaphor. Like, that's how I felt. This built momentum. It just was like, hey, you just have to do this for 66 days. And I did it. And confidence is just making a commitment to yourself and sticking with it, whatever that commitment is. And at the time, I didn't even know what that commitment was. I was so burnt out, but just something that symbolized strength for me, ironically, made me feel stronger and brought back my confidence. And those are my results. My weight's a little bit up from the I'm gaining weight video, but I'm at a set point. I feel stronger. I feel good about myself. I don't know if I really changed at all, because like I said, it wasn't really a structured program. It was just knowing I needed to do something for myself. I don't know if a lot of you guys are in that same place. I know my big goals, but I don't even know where to start right now. The world is heavy. I make these plans and they all get canceled, and I say save this, but this trip, like, I feel we're all in that place. We're like, how do I even make a New Year's resolution when I don't know where the world's going to be in 2 months? And I honestly feel blessed that Ellie at Gymshark just told me about this Gymshark 66. She's like, oh yeah, maybe do it. And I was like, I don't even, back then, like, weightlift for 66 days makes no sense. But I was in such a weird place. I just needed something, and I just knew I wanted to feel stronger. So I was like, keep weightlifting. And so I'm just gonna give you guys that idea. If you're kind of in that place, Gymshark 66 does start December 31st. You can sign up. If you're just kind of in the same place with me, our goals aren't really the goals we normally have, and I don't think we can really make those set ones right now. You're gonna hear all those specific, measurable, all that, right? That's just too much right now. I want to travel to Italy and have that romantic trip this summer. I don't know if I get it. So why should I plan for it? How I'm reevaluating, and maybe this is why I wanted to even talk about the Gymshark 66, because I think it's, even if you don't do the challenge, it's a great concept. It takes 66 days to build a habit. Hold yourself accountable, build that momentum, and when the world opens and then you start that journey, whatever it is, you're ready, you're feeling good about yourself, you hold yourself accountable, and you know you can apply 66 days to something else, whether it be eating a certain way, working out a certain way, mental, physical, emotional. Say you want to do a weight loss journey, but that's too hard right now. The thought of losing weight is exhausting, and I get it. Like, that might just be too much. So just think, what would help my eventual weight loss journey? Drinking more water. I'm going to just worry about drinking enough water every day for 66 days. And so when you're finally in a good place to start that journey, you already got that habit. Maybe your eventual goal is to be able to do the splits. Just be like, I just have to stretch for 20 seconds every day, or a minute every day. Like, just start something that you know will help that goal that you can do right now. I'm not really setting specific resolutions like I normally do. I'm just like, let's just worry about momentum and my own self-confidence, because that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm just feeling confident again. I believe in myself, and I felt very defeated for a long time. And now I feel that if someone's like, do this, I'm like, I can do it. About 2 months ago, I was like, don't ask me to pick up a piece of paper. And now I'm like, bring it on. Here's to 2021 being a bit better. And hopefully 2021 is filled with one very important thing: petting all the dogs. Have a great day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye.